Hello everyone, welcome to GoTarryn TV. This is Dr. T, PhD, the prodigy of sports psychology here in the greater Atlanta area, about to welcome back another great guest right here on GoTarryn TV. And before I bring her on, I'd like to ask everyone out there, if you please be so kind as to like this video, leave us a comment, and share it with all of your friends and family out there. As I mentioned, my guest coming on is one of the best, and she's all the way down in Johannesburg, South Africa. You've seen her on here before, living life with Nat. That's right, Natalie Joel, your Banting Keto coach, will be on here to check in and see how everything's going down in her world and how everything's progressing with her business, both professionally and personally as well. So it's a great time to chat and also catch up with Natalie and just see how everything is, both with her, Howard, and the rest of her family and everyone in her world. So I can't wait to talk to her and play catch up here momentarily. So we will be back in a second, but let me remind you that with GoTarryn Health and Fitness, it's your time, it's your investment, it's your life. We'll be right back.
Very well, thanks. How are you doing?
Good, thank you. And again, it's great to see you as always. I appreciate you being back on here. So since we last chatted, here in the States, we certainly have, it feels like, moved forward and kind of getting back to normal, and everything's going back to the way it was before everything went crazy. But what about where you're at? I hope I can say the same thing. Yeah? Same assumption? That's great. That's really, really good. And
Yes.
how is that affecting business? Hopefully in a positive way?
Hopefully things will start picking up. Now, before we'd say, oh no, look at that traffic. And now we say, isn't that wonderful? There's a traffic jam.
Yes.
It's all mindset.
Oh,
basically.
yes, certainly. Yeah. Well, reflecting back, and again, we're going back about, a couple of years. What are, if you look back on it, what are some of the things you've learned or adjusted to with all the changes, in terms of when you look back on it now? What's your thoughts on what we can learn going forward from this?
I think that I think the fear of the unknown, which I've always thought is worse than the actual whatever happens, is actually what's been happening.
Mm-hmm.
It's the unknown that has destroyed so many people, because what's going to happen? How's it going to work? Am I going to die? Is my family going to die? Is my friend going to die?
Mm-hmm.
Are we going to be so ill? That fear of the unknown is so debilitating
Mm-hmm.
that it overtakes everything. And I think that's a big problem, because a lot of people can't calm themselves and say, I'm okay, and you see people walking around in their cars, driving around in their cars with their masks on. I mean, what's the purpose?
Same here.
And people are wearing masks, same with you, but there's still air holes. So why are you wearing the mask if the air can still get into the mask,
Oh, yeah.
But that's cynical me.
No, it's not just you. No, you're right. Everyone here is the same way. Like even the, administrations that run, for example, we have the Centers for Disease Control here in the United States, and they have 180-degree completely opposite now, saying that pretty much masks are worthless, that they don't do anything. And so,
You've been saying all along.
yeah, exactly, yeah, and so it is interesting to kind of reflect back and, like you said, the unknown. But one of the things you and I always talk about is what you can do, what you can control. And for example, using you as a perfect example, what you were able to accomplish and what you're able to do with your clients as well, as you coach them along. So that's very well said. I think that's a great, profound thing that we can learn and go forward is kind of the unknown. How do you control things that are unknown? But yeah, I think you're right. So what's your forecast on this year of 2022? Do you feel like not only are we getting past this, but it's going to be a better year, a stronger year, healthier year? What do you foresee for the rest of 2022?
Well, I hope so. What you say may it be.
Mm-hmm.
But what I've heard, I don't know, I'm not a doctor, I'm not in the medical field, just from what I've heard and what I've read and what I've seen, it looks like this Omicron is like the virus of all viruses, and once you get that, then chances are of not getting it again,
Mm-hmm.
or not getting a virulent one, because what's happened here is it's so contagious that people are saying to me that they've had the test done, they just had a cold and they've been positive. They
Mm-hmm.
thought it was a test. So it's like turned into flu, basic flu. That's what it is. I don't know what's going to happen after this. People talk about the fifth wave, but is it the fear of the unknown?
Mm-hmm.
It makes them say there's going to be a fifth wave in April. I don't know why they say April, but
Oh, really?
maybe
Interesting.
yeah, but that's maybe because our winter is getting close to the, I don't know. But flu, no one says flu's coming, have the flu vaccination, because every year throughout the world, people die of flu.
Mm-hmm.
But the last 2 years, nobody spoke about people dying of flu. I'm sure many people died of flu and not of COVID, but they got it lumped together. So that's that whole thing, or the fear of things. It's like linked to everything. But we can only hope that things improve. People, everywhere you go, people say, I've had it. I've just had enough. I just want to get on with things. I can't take this anymore. I don't know if you find that same thing, that people have had enough.
Yeah, I think so. Same here. You're right. That is true. We can share in the same thing that what you said too about the flu is that you don't hear about that as far as people having the flu or dying for the flu. It's either COVID or nothing. And having enough, yeah, certainly. Like in the fitness centers where I work at, for example, they had the mask mandate for people working out. You and I have talked about that before, about exercising with a mask on, and believe it or not, there's still quite a few people in the gyms wearing their masks while they work out. And again, taking a step further, you talk about people driving with the mask on outside. I see so many people walking or running outside or jogging with their mask on. It's just really interesting. Yeah. Do you think there might be? Let me ask you if you might agree or not, but my perspective is, do you think some people see that as like a comfort, almost like a pacifier that a baby would have? I
think so. I think you've hit the nail on the head.
Yeah, there's a lot of psychology there, I think, isn't there?
Shame. I know that's South African. South African word is shame. It's like, oh no. We say shame, not shame to badly, but shame.
Right.
Oh no, sad. Somebody we know, 24 hours a day, basically, he wears his mask.
Oh, wow.
And then on Thursday, he was tested positive for COVID. So my husband said, but you wear the mask 24 hours. How do you get the...
Wow, that's so interesting. Wow.
It's there. It's in the air. It's so pervasive. If it's so contagious, and the masks are so useless, because, as I say, I saw somebody today wearing a mask, and it had spaces in between.
Yeah.
And also the paper, the virus is tiny. I don't believe the mask keeps it out.
Somebody equated it to me with a mask and COVID, as far as the particles are so small. They said that some scientists said it's like taking a handful of sand and throwing it against a big chain link fence, and the sand just goes right through it. It's no different. And, as far as like going back to that kind of, mental, kind of mindful, scared, fear, what have you, no question about it that the news media, especially here in our country, it's a big scare tactic, I think. But that whole fear-mongering, you see a lot of people with those masks on, and they're just really scared. And I'm afraid of the long-term damages this is going to do, not only on adults, but children, too. These kids wearing masks.
That's what scares me.
Yeah.
Children, because the children in this country still have to mask up at school.
It's terrible. That's horrible. That is crazy.
Children are terrified. I read somewhere, somebody said, don't take off your mask, Daddy, you'll die. I mean, that's the most terrible thing.
Wow.
It's frightening. They have to wear these masks at school and in the playground. And it's ridiculous. It's giving them built-in fear.
Yeah, that's the fear, right? Exactly. Yeah, that's what I'm really afraid of. And also at the fitness centers where I work at, I've witnessed this where some people have come in and they've got the double mask on, and they almost look like, have you ever seen that movie Star Wars with the stormtrooper helmets and the Darth Vader like going like this and just kind of walking around? And anyway, one of them came in and they were like looking and they were saying, that person doesn't have their mask on, that person doesn't have their mask on. How do I know if they're not vaccinated? How do I know if that person's not vaccinated? And in my mind, I didn't say this, but I'm just thinking, I'm like, why are you here? Like, why aren't you at home then? If you're that scared, that's what I'm worried about. And that's an adult, by the way, that was saying this. And going back to the kids, we have 3 little kids ourselves, and we've made it a strict policy. Even when masks are mandated, we never put a mask on our kids. Unless absolutely, like you go to a hospital and they force you to, or no entry, then of course, yeah. But even so, I tell my kids, I'm like, just wear it down here underneath your chin, and nobody's going to say anything. Don't worry. I was just talking about, there with the whole, like, kind of children wearing masks and almost like child abuse in some ways.
Yeah, it's actually frightening to see the mentality of the children now it's like the set thing now is, I am terrified, I've got to wear a mask.
Mm-hmm.
And there's so much going on in the world. What do they need this extra layer of fear for?
Yep.
Huh?
That's very well said. Yeah.
I don't know how we're going to get that sorted out. Because here, if the children don't have the masks, they can't get into school. They have to wear it.
Oh,
so I don't know if your children are homeschooled. But if they're not homeschooled, if your schools, you're very lucky your schools are not forcing the masks. But here they're forcing it.
Oh, wow. Oh, my God. Yeah, that's scary. It just goes to show that, like you said, who knows what to expect for the future and how we're going to get past this. But in your field and my field, we're about helping people and, promoting health and wellness. Kind of just looking at that for a second, how are your clients doing overall, and how's your business been with, in terms of how their health has been and, overall attitude of all of your clientele?
Well, I've found that most people who are starting with me tell me that the last 2 years was a disaster. If they might have been trying to lose weight, the last 2 years they have packed it on.
Oh, wow.
It could be 2 pounds, it could be 20 pounds, but whatever it is, every ounce makes them distraught, which is understandable because to one person, putting on a pound is disaster. Somebody else putting on 20 pounds is a disaster. It's everybody's different, but it's all the same story, that the stress of the last 2 years has brought everybody's, seems to be not everybody obviously, but a lot of people's emotional eating has popped out because the stress levels, it's that fear, that same, get back to that same thing, the fear of the unknown, the fear of what's going to happen has made people lose their grip on their strengths, a lot of them.
Yeah, that's really interesting. And I think that for people like you and I, there's definitely opportunity there to help others. You would think theoretically that we should probably have more people who are ready to, like you said earlier, enough is enough and move forward, but maybe reach for some kind of health coach like yourself and just say, look, I need some help because I've had stress or anxiety or been stuck at home and isolated and what have you. So let's definitely look at that as a positive for both us, because I think there is some opportunity for us there to help other people. What are some of the kind of, again, you're opposite than us. We're finishing winter. We're heading towards spring. You're the opposite. You're going to be heading into your winter. What other things do you have both personally and professionally now as the seasons are about to change here? What are the plans going for the next couple months? Do you have any plans, again, personally, like going out of town vacations or what have you, or professionally, any kind of, different types of programming and such?
Personally, I'd love to have a vacation at the moment and go to the coast, but I don't know when that's going to be. I love the north coast it's near about 6 hours drive away.
Okay.
Beautiful weather, lovely beaches, warm sea, but I don't know when we're going to do that. Professionally, I'm finding more people are sticking their feet out, getting their feet wet, so to speak, that they are facing the world again.
Good.
And interestingly enough, by facing the world again, that's why they feel that they need to now take themselves in check. Enough's enough. I'm seeing people. I'm with people. Got to get myself back under control. I need to do something about my health.
Yeah.
So I am finding that.
That's perfect. Yeah, that's really, really good. Just with what we do, it's just all about helping people and, We've talked a lot about the whole mental struggles and motivation because with exercise, losing weight, it's hard enough. People have so many excuses to not either exercise or eat correctly because it's so much easier just to do the opposite. I find with my clients that over time, I'll have the same clients repeat, and it's like a vicious cycle. It's like, for us with New Year's, they come back and they say, well, New Year's resolution was I figured I need to get back in here and do this and lose weight. And then it just goes circular in that vicious cycle. But I think long term, and you've done it, you and your husband, by the way, with being able to not only long term, but lose just a large amount of body weight and really incredible goals and achieve that. You've talked about it before here, Natalie, but can you kind of maybe just give us, again, a little refresher? What's been some of the secret to you and your husband for your success, not only losing it, but also keeping it off, which arguably might be harder, right?
Yes, it's the first time. It's now coming up April, May. We started 7 years ago.
No kidding, really? Wow,
Yeah.
That's amazing. Wow.
I've got a photo somewhere. I know I should always keep it. I never think of it. For about 40 years, I was battling. Here's one of me. I don't think I've shown you. I'll take it out. To lose weight. I think that pregnancy triggered things in my body, made my body. Anyway, so it started when my first pregnancy, it went mad. And everybody said, oh, when you have a baby, when your baby's born, the weight will go off, and breastfeeding, it didn't work like that. And let me just see. So anyway, so I tried all the different weight loss companies. I tried dietitians.
Sure.
And I'd lose for a bit, but I'd always be starving.
Okay.
And I had a big tummy, and I didn't realize at that stage that big tummy meant metabolic syndrome, insulin resistance. So it's I don't know if you can see.
Yeah, look at that. Wow. That's amazing. You don't even look like the same person anymore.
So anyway,
incredible.
So I was definitely trying to lose weight, and I was struggling, and I had this craving for chocolates, and somebody suggested to me that I should try South Africa ketos called Banting. And I told my husband about it, and he said he'll do it with me. That was the beginning of our health journey. And we didn't know that there were health benefits at that stage. We just knew we're going to lose the weight. And we started losing, and the thing is that men lose a lot faster than women. I must tell you that.
Wow.
I don't know if you realize that, but you can be both. You can even be more strict than your male partner, your male friend. But men lose a lot easier. So if you've got a lot of male clients who've got these huge beer bellies, they will lose that weight a lot faster than a woman who's struggling to lose the weight.
Wow.
So anyway, he started noticing that his sugar levels started improving because he had diabetes. And the upshot is now his doctor has told him he no longer has diabetes.
Wow.
But compared to when he started, he found out about 10 years ago that he had diabetes. They told him it was a long-term thing. It gets worse and worse. You can lose your eyesight, and you can lose your legs. It's frightening what can happen if the sugar takes control of the body.
Absolutely.
And he'll start eating insulin and all those terrible things, and now he doesn't take any medication for diabetes.
Oh, that's amazing.
And I used to have, it's amazing. It's actually a miracle. It's like a secret that nobody talks about. That you change your way of eating and you change your life. In fact, the mayor of New York, I heard it on Twitter, he's amazing. He said, it's not your DNA, it's your dinner. It's very clever. So anyway, so what happened was we did this way of eating, and my husband lost about 80, 90 pounds, and I lost over 100 pounds. And I went down from XXX large down to a medium, which was great.
Wow.
And I could do up the safety belt on an airplane, and I didn't have to worry that I'd break chairs when I sat on them, which I used to do, and I could climb stairs again. And then I thought, nobody knows about this way. And first of all, in the first year, people didn't recognize me. They didn't recognize me.
Right.
It changed from a round shape to my face got longer, my whole body system changed.
Looked a lot younger too now.
About going out.
Yeah, much younger now.
People change. I went somewhere yesterday, which I haven't been for a while.
Yeah.
And there were people there who hadn't seen me for a few years.
Yeah.
And I walked in, and one of them said, "Is that Natalie?" believe it's you. You look so young. Well, I'm 65, and she said I look so young. So
yeah, right, exactly. Mm-hmm.
And the other woman said, I kept looking at this woman and thinking, who's this girl walking in here? So it does. That's the only way of eating that changes your whole physique, your whole body. Because the Western way of eating holds the water in the body. So you're bloated, your cheeks are out, your tummy's out, you're bloated. You're like a walking blob. And when you lose the weight, you're still eating that same food on a regular diet.
Sure.
If you've got my symptoms. And so your blob still just gets a smaller shape. So you're still rounded, but just narrower. And when I cut out the sugar and the Western food type things that I stopped eating, it was so different. I don't have heartburn. I don't have joint pain. I think I mentioned to you before. My fingers are arthritis. You can see they've been destroyed from the shape. But the pain's gone. And that is one of the things from metabolic syndrome. One of the autoimmune illnesses is arthritis, which I don't have the pain for, which is amazing. And that's what made me decide I'm going to coach people and help people change their lives, because so many people come to me and say, I'm useless, I'm terrible, I've tried everything, I don't know it's going to work. And they get so excited when it does. So,
you're a living testimonial.
See what gets me worked up.
Yeah, I mean, you really are. Yeah, you and your husband both. It's just, what a transformation. It really, truly is the epitome of just being transformative. And, I mean, when you help people like that, it's so empowering. But there's nothing better than you living it, because you have done it. And you can share that with other people. They can entrust you because you've been there and done it. So someone who's actually gone through that process, I think, has more authority to be able to provide, all of the help that along the way. So
yes, I've got another picture I want to get. I don't know if you can see it, if it's clear.
The tops.
Wrong. Wait. Somebody sent me a picture of my husband and me. Can you see it?
Wow, yeah, gosh.
It was 14 years ago.
That was 14 years ago.
It was 14 years ago.
Oh, my goodness.
So I sent her a picture that same day. I'm going to show you of, I don't know where it is, just to show her that, of us now.
Hey, look at that. So you can
see how my husband has lost the weight.
You both look so much healthier. That's the one word. If there was one word to pick out between the comparison of those two pictures that you just showed, healthier is definitely at the top of my list of, now what you look like versus back then. And that's 14 years. I mean, think about that. That's just, I mean, most people, especially in our country, go the other way. Like after 14 years, you now would be the before. Yeah. And then that picture would be the after effect. So, I commend you, Natalie. That's just so admirable, and you're just doing a wonderful job. And you've talked about it, Natalie, but I'll ask you kind of, what do you find, would you say, just most rewarding looking back with helping all the people that you help right now? What would just stands out above everything else as just being so satisfying for you?
They found their health. So many people with diabetes have gone off their insulin, which is huge. Because you think once they go onto insulin that they are stuck with, as you can see, diabetes has got a feeling for, I like helping people, especially with diabetes, because of my husband. So it really means something to me, and I can see how it works. So I've had a lot of clients with diabetes who have managed to reverse their medication. Obviously, I always say you've got to talk to your doctor. I'm not a doctor. I'll give you the program, the what to eat, and still you must continue seeing your doctor. That's without question. The doctor must still be part of your process. But the eating makes what you are. It's extra frightening. As Mr. Adams, I think his name is Eric Adams, the mayor of New York. He said, as he so clearly said, that it's not everybody says, oh, my mother had high blood pressure, my grandmother, my auntie, blah, blah, blah. But you all eat the same way. If you all eat the same way, you're all going to get the same symptoms. It's the same with the diabetes. Everybody says, oh, everybody's got diabetes, I'm going to get it. So you may have the propensity for this autoimmune illness, but you don't have to turn it into reality. You can halt it. because most autoimmune illnesses are Western diet related. And you change what you eat and you change your health. And it is absolutely frightening that that's the bottom line. We are what we eat. You know, you always hear that cliche and you think, yeah, you know. But it's actually really. In fact, one of my coaches, Dr. Berg, I did one of my keto coach trainings through him. He says before you can lose the weight, you have to gain your health.
That's good. I like that.
And it's actually true. It's actually true. If you haven't got your health, you're not going to be able to nourish your body properly to be able to get to where you want to go.
That's so true. I mean, and I like that. It's not in the DNA, but it's on the dinner. That really is. You hear a lot of things like that. One of the other expressions I like, another personal trainer that I know of told me the phrase, you can't outrun your fork. You know, like in other words, you can't burn enough calories to compensate for what we eat. But here in our country, I mean, God, Natalie, I think we have everyone beat as far as how much we consume. I mean, in America, we like to consume the bigger, the better, and the more calorie dense, you know, the tastier. That's us. That's the USA. That's where we're at. And
it's the Western world now.
Yes, absolutely. Because, well, look at our counterparts in the East. Do you see many obese or large Asians or, you know, people of Orient, descent walking? It just doesn't happen, you know. They're just.
But when they come to America, it does.
That's when they get bigger. Yeah, certainly. And it's funny because, you know, like some people have talked about in terms of, I hear it all the time when at airports and they say, hey, I just went to wherever, somewhere in Japan or Korea. I can't believe how skinny the people are. They have the reverse mentality. When they come here to America or over in the West, they always comment and like, wow, people are so big. And it's so true. Yeah, but, you know, Natalie, I got to just point out, you're just doing an amazing job. I think I say that a lot, but you really are. I mean, I'm really impressed with what you're doing. So please keep up the great work that you're doing. Before we let you... Oh, thank you. Yeah, no, I appreciate it. I'm so grateful you and I can both be in this business together and do this for people. Let me ask you, Natalie, if you would, please go ahead and plug. I know you've got Facebook groups and your website and contact information. Anything you want to go ahead and promote right now, we can go ahead and do that before we sign off.
I'm on LinkedIn, Living Keto with Nat. I'm on Facebook, Living Keto with Nat and Natalie Joel. And I'm on Instagram, Living Keto with Nat as well. Excellent.
Very, very good. Well, Natalie, you know, again, always a pleasure. And the 30 minutes with you just flies by so quickly every single time. And as always, I want to thank you for your time. And let's check in next month. But in the meantime, I hope you and your husband and the rest of your family has a wonderful time. And as you get ready to prepare to enter winter, as we're entering spring over here in the United States.
Thank you.
Thank you, Natalie. And as we fade to black, here comes your contact information right now. We will see you next time.
Thank you.